Welcome back, guys. In this lesson, let's talk about methods. Specifically within methods, we're going to talk about the static and the public keyword. So let's go ahead and create a new class. I'm going to say public and static. Yeah, let's call it that, public and static. Let me just close this. Yes, and close this. Okay. So what is the difference, right? We all know how to create a method and everything, right? That's simple. But within this, let me actually refactor this really quick. Your public and static method. Finish. There you go. It's refactored. Great. So in here, right, we all know how to create a method, right? We have created it hundreds of times before. So if you wanted to create a method, let's say, we say, let's say public void, let's say my public method, right? They have this, and then let's say static void my static method, right? Again, we can create it either way, right? This is what we have been doing for the few lectures. Few lectures ago we have been doing this thing. So what this means, right, is basically what this means is that one, you can access without creating an object, and another one you need to access using, well, you need to access only after you create an object. So which one is what, right? So this one, public, for instance, can be accessed only after creating an object, and static can be accessed without creating an object. Okay. So public, and this is static. Now, what does this mean, right? So let's say I have print line, right? Let's say this is, I get to say this is public method, right? And then I can say this is static method. We'll just keep it simple. We'll just keep it simple just so you can understand it. So in here, if I want to do, let's say, my public static method, right? So my public static method. So let's try to run this thing. Otherwise, it doesn't give me any issues. So let's try to run this thing, see what happens. Oh, I'm sorry, this is calling the static method. My apologies on that. Let's say it doesn't even give me that option, right? It doesn't even give me that option. So if I want to even hard code this, let's say I just copy this thing and I put that, right? It doesn't even So this thing, the static method just showed up there because I didn't realize that was the thing that showed up there, because again, you don't need, there's no issue with this. With this one, look at this, you're just getting an issue, right? It says right there, it says cannot make a static reference to a non-static method, my public method, from a public and static method. So it's basically saying that we cannot call this because this is not a static method, right? It's a non-static. It says quick fix, right? Change my public method to static. So if we just change this specific keyword public to static, if I just click on this, see, public is static. So if I have this, I can have the word public, but as soon as I have the word static in there, then I can just access it without creating. See, I don't know if you saw that. If I have the keyword static in here, see, the issue is gone, right? If I was to run this, it gives me those. This is a public method and this is a static method, right? But as soon as I take this thing out, well, it is not letting me do that thing anymore, right? I cannot even do anything. It just gives me these issues. I cannot do anything. It's an exception and gives me a compilation issue. So I cannot, and it also tells me that cannot make a static reference to the non-static method, my public method. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense to you guys. So that's the basically main difference. If I want to use static, that means I do not need to create an object of that. Now, if I want to access this, one way to get this thing is, what I have to do is, here, let me just do this. Static method, right? So it's printing this. And this would be, let's say, public method. So one way to do this thing, I have to say I have to create public and static method, right? My public method so first the public method, my sorry. This thing equals new this. So now I can call this thing. I just created an object of this class first, right? Then I can say public and static method dot. Right now I can access this, my public method. See this? Right now I have access to this thing only after I created an object. Okay. Now if I was to run this thing, hopefully that'll work. There you go. Now it prints out my public method and then my static method. So for printing out this, I had to do all of this work. For the static, I did all my work over here that I just called specifically just this, my static method, just this part, and that did the whole thing. So hopefully this makes sense a little bit between the static and the public keyword, right? Again, static, it can be accessed without creating an object. Public can be accessed only after creating an object here of the class. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense a little bit to you guys. If you have any questions, comments, please do let me know in the comment section below. Do like and subscribe to the video. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.